The Super Mario Bros. Movie is officially out, and let me tell you, it is a Nintendo fan's dream come true. It seriously still feels like a fever dream, like it never even happened. In the entire movie, I smiled every single scene because there's so much to smile at. There's so many cool Easter eggs and small hidden details that even the oldest of fans is going to point at the screen and see something incredible in the movie theater. So today, I wanted to go through the entire movie and break it down piece by piece, and even talk about some of those Easter eggs for you guys today. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things the Mario movie, as we're probably going to be talking about it for quite a long time after its release. But also, warning, there are spoilers ahead, obviously, because we are going to be talking about the entirety of the movie. Now, let's get into the video. The movie starts off with a Nintendo logo, which was so cool to see in an actual movie theater and not a Mario game. And it has like little sprites of Mario and Luigi walking across the screen and little sound effects. Also, some theaters actually played the trailer to Tears of the Kingdom in one of the opening movie trailers, which was awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think my theater did it. I was a little late, but I didn't see any trailer for that game, so that's still crazy that some theaters did that. We then get the scene of Bowser's invasion onto the Penguin Kingdom in order to get the Power Star. Now, what's interesting is this seems to be the only Power Star in the entire movie. Why did the penguins have it? I'm not quite sure, but that Power Star gave Bowser the ability in order to take on the Mushroom Kingdom. We find out later that his motive is actually to make Peach his wife, and if she doesn't agree, he will ruin the Mushroom Kingdom with the power of the Power Star. As Kamek is helping Bowser, we can also hear his familiar noises that we heard in the classic games as well when he uses his wand. We then can hear the plumber ad, where we see Mario and Luigi actually talking in their Mario and Luigi voices from the game, which is super funny. And they use it as like a bit at the end. Mario asks Luigi if the voices sound right, and that's their kind of thing that they're trying to portray for the ad, which was like really funny. You got to hear them actually sound like Mario and Luigi exactly from the games, which was really cool. There's lots of other little small references that I've already talked about from past trailers, so I'm not going to dive into all of those. For instance, Mansion Street was on the map, which probably references Luigi's Mansion, which we'll get more references for that later on. Cutting back to the diner that Mario and Luigi was in watching their ad on the TV, the diner was full to the brim of Punch-Out references, all from Punch-Out on the Wii, which was super exciting to me as someone who loves Punch-Out. I mean, there was pictures of Doc Lewis and Little Mac scattered literally everywhere. We can see Bear Hugger, Glass Joe, even Piston Hondo between the bros, which was super cool. Not to mention that there was even a little 2D Mario setup beside them and Duck Hunt pictures as well. There is even a man named Giuseppe dressed as Jumpman from the classic Mario games, and even playing an old arcade machine that was Donkey Kong, of course. And I believe that he was voiced by Charles Martinet. Then see Spike run into the bros at the diner, which was Mario and Luigi's old boss at the Wrecking Crew company, which was pretty cool, and now they're self-made plumbers, and he kind of bullies them. Luigi's phone then goes off, and it plays the startup theme for the GameCube, and also has a silhouette of a Mii character. Mario and Luigi then make their way to their next job, but outside there's some things to talk about. For one, right beside the cafe, there was a store that said Super Sunshine Travel Booking or Travel Agency, obviously referencing Super Mario Sunshine. It was even in the same font, which was super cool as a Sunshine diehard fan myself. Not to mention, we technically have Sunshine Airport in Mario Kart 8, so it just makes sense. Then they go into a 2D scene where they're doing platforming and kind of bouncing off of each other in order to reach the end, obviously foreshadowing their main adventure in the Mushroom Kingdom in their 2D games. But he even ends by sliding down a pole, hearing the theme song, and even seeing a Burger Castle building acting as the castle at the end of a 2D Mario stage. Mario and Luigi then go to a fancy New York apartment where they're chased around the room and destroy it thanks to the dog, because Luigi stepped on the dog snack. But if you'll notice, within the actual family room of the apartment, you'll notice a little tiny statue of Pikmin, which kind of looks like the amiibo. Mario and Luigi then go back home to eat dinner with their entire family, which was like, what? Yeah, they sit down at the table and have a full meal with mom, dad, it seems like maybe even more brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts. There's a lot of people in the Mario Brothers family. We also know that Mario's dad is also voiced by Charles Martinet. But Mario also hates mushrooms, as their main dish is mushrooms on pasta, and you can actually see him picking the mushrooms out of his pasta with his fork. It also looks like the salad bowl being passed to Luigi has symbol patterns of the upside down pyramids from Tostarena from Super Mario Mario Odyssey, which we know is a confirmed kingdom within this movie's world as well. But maybe this family has more connections to Tostarena than we previously thought, because up on the shelf we can see little figurines of the sheep with the sombreros on their head from Super Mario Odyssey. Mario then goes to his room after eating and actually plays Kid Icarus on his NES before switching to the news. You can also see other various NES games plastered on his wall as posters, such as NES Golf and Tennis, plus a Star Fox R-Wing statue on top of his television. It's not long until we see Pauline actually make an appearance on the news, so it seems like maybe she is the mayor of New York at this time, which is pretty interesting as she's the mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey, but unfortunately this is all we see of her throughout the entire movie. The Mario brothers run outside to go help the flood that's going on in New York, and they pass another cafe, which is called Duck Hunt Cafe, but it was in like another language. But then you also could see the bros go underground, and you could hear the underground theme play, and it looked very familiar to the area underneath New Donk City. Mario and Luigi then find a mysterious pipe and get sucked into different regions. Obviously Mario going to the Mushroom Kingdom and Luigi going to the Bowser Kingdom, or the Dark Lands that it's called in the movie. And Mario meets Toad, where we hear the Captain Toad theme song play out. Luigi then runs into a nearby castle where he's getting chased by Dry Bones, where he actually has a lot of Luigi's Mansion feel around him. I don't know if I'm hearing things, but I am almost 100% sure it plays the first couple of notes of the Luigi's Mansion theme, and you actually have the vibe of it as it's kind of making it sound scary as the Shy Guys and Sniffits appear behind him, and it just kind of gives that Luigi's Mansion feel from the very beginning, and I love this so much. The Luigi's Mansion movie has to happen. We then cut back to Mario's peaceful time as he's going throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, seeing all the Toads in Toad Town and just kind of making his way to Peach's castle as he's going into the wrong pipes every time. We then go back to Luigi, where Luigi is actually captured now and missing his brother Mario, and it flashes back to when they were kids and Mario stopped a bully, and they look exactly like baby Mario and baby Luigi from the video games. I mean, seriously, spot on. And then we go back to Mario, where he finally makes it to the castle and sees Peach, and you can hear the Peach's Castle theme song playing, which is a nice touch. But to get Mario inside the castle, Toad puts down a fire like he does in Captain Toad, or maybe it could even be referencing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where he puts a whole bunch of food in a pot real quick and just makes it. It kind of gave me Zelda vibes, but it probably is just referencing Captain Toad. Mario then runs through the halls in order to get to Princess Peach, and I underestimated the power of the Toad guards because they do get Mario down on the ground and they start beating him. But Mario has a P-Wing sound effect as he's running, as if he can just start flying with his Tanuki suit, even though he doesn't have one. Mario then asks to help Peach to get his brother back, and Peach says you have to train before we go to Bowser or he will eat you. And as Mario's going through the training montage, he's just getting completely messed up, and he has to eat a mushroom every time in order to grow so that way he can smash the blocks and everything, which actually acts like a power-up, but he hates mushrooms, so he throws up often, and he even throws up once where the power-up just kind of leaves him and he gets small again after he pukes, which is just so funny. But Peach blows through the course with no problem, even using some Smash Brothers references like her float that she can do as she lands on the ground. Eventually Mario gets it down and starts using all types of moves that we've seen throughout the Mario franchise. He even has his spin jump from New Super Mario Brothers, and he even does a ground pound through some blocks. It's really cool, and if I were to sit here and try to remember every single move that Mario did, it'd be impossible, but just know that he pulls out all the stops. There's even a part where he runs with his arm straight out that's ripped directly from Super Mario Odyssey. I love it. We then jump to Bowser and his army rocking out to Fury Bowser's theme from Bowser's Fury, which is super cool because they're even referencing the newest of games such as Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which is just awesome. Mario, Toad, and Peach then go through a scene where they're going through various different kingdoms, unfortunately not spending a lot of time in each one. They go through Bob-omb Battlefield, Tostarena, we see a beach area similar to Mario 3D Land, and obviously finishing off at the Rock Candy Mines themed area from New Super Mario Bros. We then make a camp before arriving to the Kong region, where Peach tells a backstory of where she comes from, which we never really heard from the games. We even see a scene of baby Peach once again being pulled straight from the games, such as Yoshi's Island, and we get to hear that she just kind of appeared here. Apparently she came through the pipe and the Toads raised her and made her the princess and queen of the area, which is pretty interesting. So I definitely want to dive into more about this and where exactly she came from. She's probably from the real world somewhere, but exactly what happened? They then get to the Kong area and take a ride from one of the Kongs that's driving a cart with a Rambi symbol on the front, which was pretty cool. But they go through this giant path going through this giant village where all the Kongs live in these different huts, which would be great for a Donkey Kong movie, just saying. But they meet Cranky Kong and they ask Cranky Kong for his Kong army, but he says that they have to defeat his son in order to gain the control of his army, which is interesting because Donkey Kong is not the son of Cranky Kong within the Mario games. In fact, Cranky Kong is technically the original Donkey Kong and the grandfather of Donkey Kong, which just kind of erases DK Jr. completely, which is supposed to be Donkey Kong's dad, and that's not the case in this movie. Cranky is just Donkey Kong's dad, which is going to make some people upset, and some people probably just won't care. Donkey Kong pulls up in showboats and obviously jumps into the arena to the Donkey Kong rap from DK64, which is just absolutely perfect. It fits the scene so well, and Mario and Donkey Kong duke it out where Mario has to grab power-ups in order to defeat DK, but one of the power-ups he actually grabs is a mini mushroom, which makes him very small. DK also throws barrels at Mario and even does a barrel roll like he does in the Donkey Kong Country games, which is really cool. And in the audience, speaking of Donkey Kong Country, we can see Diddy, Dixie, and Chunky Kong all cheering on and watching. Then after Mario gets obliterated, he's able to get the Super Bell where he's able to turn into Cat Mario, where he goes absolutely insane, bouncing off of blocks, pouncing down from the air, and landing on DK, scratching him multiple times and completely obliterating him, smashing him through the girder, taking him all the way down to the bottom of the arena. And there's various Donkey Kong themes that play as well, like the DK startup theme and the level finish theme as DK is finished. We then go back to DK's hut, where it looks very familiar to that of Donkey Kong Country, where he even has his hammock and his red carpeting on the floor. And on the back wall is a map of the area, and it's in the Super Mario World style. Next, we move on to Bowser preparing for the wedding that he wants to have with Peach, and he puts on his wedding hat from Super Mario Odyssey, which obviously later we'll see even more references from that game, and we'll talk about that more. But he also has the Piranha Plant bouquet that he actually gives to Peach within the game itself as well. And then we see Kamek is actually dressed up like Peach in order for the roleplay to play out. Now this isn't just a random thing either. Yes, Kamek actually does this in New Super Mario Bros. Wii to fool Mario. We then move on to a scene where Bowser's playing the piano talking about Princess Peach as he sings a song called Peaches multiple times within this movie. It's pretty funny. And then Bowser then calls Kamek up to play with him, and they both play the underground theme as they have a conversation. For one, you'll notice on the piano it actually is a Ludwig themed piano. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it definitely says Ludwig. Part of me wants to say that it said Ludwig von Koopa, which was his original name in the OG Mario Brothers cartoons, which was really cool. Kamek then informs Bowser that Mario is teaming up with the Kongs, and he blows steam out of his nose, and Bowser makes a very similar sound that he does in the games. I think it was like a direct rip from his actual in-game sound, which was a pretty cool little reference, showing that he still is Bowser. We then get a scene where all the Kongs are putting their carts together in order to race toward Bowser, and it actually plays the Mario Kart 8 Kart Selection theme song, which is such a beautifully orchestrated remix of the song. I mean, seriously, I smiled the entire time during this scene. You get to see all Peach, Mario, and Toad go up to customize their carts as they spin dials, just like you would in the game, picking your cart, your tires, and your glider, and lots of the pieces are actually from Mario Kart 8. I was even able to see my favorite tires, the Cyber Slicks. Mario and Peach both pull up and honk their horns on their carts and bikes respectively, and then Toad pulls up in the monster truck, and his horn is actually the whistle sound from Captain Toad. They then jump onto the Rainbow Road, and it plays the SNES version of Rainbow Road, which is really cool, and a new remake. And then of course Bowser's army follows suit and plays out very similar scenes that we've already seen in the trailer of Mario jumping off of Koopa Troopa's heads, grabbing shells, throwing them back, and just blowing up cars on the track. The real brand new thing that we got to see is Peach go crazy with her zero gravity. Yes, there is zero gravity tires on this as well, just like Mario Kart 8, where the tires will flip when they go upside down, and Peach is actually able to turn it off and fall off of the top track, landing on a bottom one as well. Her zero grab tires can also go over water, and she's also bumping other people off of her carts the entire time, which is really cool. We also see Mario drift back and forth, gaining different colored sparks just like in Mario Kart, and he even gets a purple spark where he's able to gain little mini boosts as well. There's so much little detail with the racing. DK shoots one of the rocket barrels at the blue paratroopa's cart, blowing it up, leaving him stranded on the track, and then of course he yells out "blue shell" and jumps into his blue shell, flies forward, spins around the cart where Donkey Kong and Mario is in, goes up into the air and slams down in the exact same animation that we've seen the blue shell do in Mario Kart, and it was beautiful. It blows up almost the entire track or the rainbow in the sky, dropping Mario and DK into the water down below, where an Unagi or Malray from Mario 64 and even Mario Odyssey and some of the other Mario games comes out and eats Mario and Donkey Kong. We're just going to call it a Malray for the time being because I think that's more of the modern term for the creature now. But Mario and DK spend time in the belly of the creature, kind of relating with their parents, thinking that they're jokes and trying to be more and be an actual hero, but also ingested with them is some bloopers, which is really cool. We then see DK pound the inside of the stomach in anger, causing a acid reflux to happen, and DK uses this moment to use one of his last rocket barrels in order to ride out in the same way that he does in Donkey Kong Country Returns. I mean, there's not just Mario references here, there's even big Donkey Kong ones as well. We then go to Bowser and Peach getting ready for the actual wedding, which is really cool. There's even like a little birthday cake with Bowser's shells all over it, and also some mushrooms and Bowser's horns with a wedding Bowser and wedding Peach figurines on top, which is really interesting because they look like the amiibo as well. But we also get two special guests in the audience, with King Bob-omb being there and even King Boo in the back. Now I will say, when I was watching this and they kept showing King Boo, he looked very weird, like his model was not finished or something, as almost if they just threw him in at the very end of the movie. Like, King Boo was never supposed to be here. They just kind of said we should add him at the very last second. I don't know, I wasn't huge on his design in the movie. If you watch the movie and watch him closely, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Peach is forced to marry Bowser, or at least attempt to marry Bowser, or Luigi, the penguins, and other Kongs and characters will be dropped into the lava from their cages. I haven't really talked about Luigi again ever since because we don't really see him anymore. He's just in those cages with all the different characters as well, which Lumily is actually one of the characters in the cages, which is just a Luma, apparently a baby Luma that has some very weird issues with him. In fact, he wants to die in the lava and gets upset when Peach saves the day. It's very weird, but we don't see or hear or know anything else about this Luma. There's no Rosalina reference or Mario Galaxy reference at all, no reason why this random Luma is here. Lumily is literally there just to give you a couple laughs, and that's it. Of course, both Peach and Bowser have their garbs on from Super Mario Odyssey, which is perfect. Peach is a little different. It has a little bit of pink to it instead of the all white we saw in Super Mario Odyssey. Yes, I'm being very detailed here, but it's just really cool how much Odyssey is referenced in this movie. Peach saves the day, hiding an ice flower in her bouquet, freezing Bowser and the other minions that are trying to attack her, and she also freezes the chains so the cages will stop dropping into the lava, saving Luigi, the penguins, and the Kongs for the time being. Then obviously DK turns into Fire DK, and Mario grows bigger by eating a mushroom, and they're both super powered, taking out tons of enemies using moves once again seen throughout the games, which was a really cool scene, going from 2D to 3D perspective and seeing Mario just hit all types of moves that you've seen in the past games once again was a really nice touch. He used more 3D moves this time around, like side flips and back flips, which is really cool to see. He even kind of mirrors what he did in the obstacle course. You'll see him use his spin jumps again and even ground pound like he did through the blocks, but this time in a group of Koopa Troopas and Hammer Bros to knock them out of the way, which is awesome. Mario then finds a Tanuki leaf, and you can hear some Mario Bros. 3 music playing when then he turns into Tanuki Mario and flies up towards the castle as Donkey Kong is running up the chains to help. He grabs and holds the gears, preventing the cages from dropping so he can raise everybody back up and save them after Peach's ice powers go away and her ice melts. Bowser then pulls a Thanos and calls for a massive fire power to smash the Mushroom Kingdom, and he calls for the Bonsai Bill, which is targeted straight for Peach's castle. Mario flies down as Tanuki Mario and gets the Bill's attention by smacking him in the eye with his tail, making the Bonsai Bill want to attack Mario instead of the castle, and he flies around trying to get Mario until Mario leads it into the entrance pipe to the Mushroom Kingdom, where it then goes into the void and blows up, sucking everything in from the Mushroom Kingdom into Brooklyn, New York. Also, I just thought real quick I'd say I actually called this because I really wanted to see a scene play out the same way as the classic Mario Brothers series, where Bowser and his Koopas actually come to New York and Brooklyn within that TV show. I thought it'd be really cool to see that in the movie too, so it happened. Mario then has to have a 1v1 fight against Bowser, and Bowser is completely wrecking him, even giving damage to Mario, as we can't really see that in the Mushroom Kingdom, and maybe because the Mushroom Kingdom doesn't really have damage to people, like you don't get black eyes or bruises or anything. But now that Mario's back in the real world, you can see his face is pretty beat up from Bowser, and he hides back in that same diner that he was in with Luigi in the very beginning, which he kind of is scared and doesn't know if he can do it. Peach and Donkey Kong are able to distract Bowser for a second, and Donkey Kong actually punches him and knocks him to the ground, giving Mario enough time to come out of the diner and confront Bowser. Bowser shoots fire at Mario, but Luigi comes up and blocks it with a manhole cover, allowing both Mario and Luigi to dive after the Power Star that's near them, and of course they gain the invincibility. They both use bros attacks, kind of Mario and Luigi style, to take out Bowser, hopping off of each other, throwing Bowser around, punching him in different angles. I mean, it was pretty amazing, giving him a giant uppercut and kicking him back into the ground. There are so many things going on here. Even both team up to grab Bowser's tail and spin him around to launch him in the air and then just slam on his head, very similar to obviously how Mario does in Mario 64. Also a sign that says Discun Hardware Company, which is referencing the mascot Discun, which is the mascot for the Famicom Disk System in Japan. And of course we hear the Starman theme song playing the entire time Mario and Luigi are powered up, which is awesome. And then they defeat Bowser, where Peach and Toad come up and give Bowser a mini mushroom to shrink him down and put him in a jar in confinement. And there was also more signs nearby, one for Balloon Fight and one for Ice Climbers. It had the polar bear holding an ice pop for some type of ice cream stand. And then at the very end we see Mario and Luigi have their new home, but this time it's in the Mushroom Kingdom where they decided to stay. And they also have a poster of F-Zero on their back wall within their home. Then we have two post-credit scenes. The first one is with Mini Bowser playing a mini piano inside of his cage that he can't escape, that's sitting inside the Mushroom Kingdom, but we're probably going to see him escape somehow. I mean, seriously, the only thing he has to do is hurt himself and then he loses the power and probably grows back to normal size, right? And then the second and final post-credit scene within the movie shows a Yoshi egg sitting down in the sewers where Mario and Luigi were sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom, but this time it looks like it is in Brooklyn, probably sucked in from the Mushroom Kingdom still, when Mario sucked everybody in from the Bonsai Bill. And just sitting down there, we see it crack, and then we hear the iconic Yoshi sound before it fades to black. And that is the entirety of the Super Mario Brothers movie, kind of recap for you, and also talking about every little small detail that I could find. Now, of course, there were so many other posters probably and little details here and there that's impossible to pick up on immediately, so when the movie comes out, we'll probably be able to dissect everything perfectly and tell you everything that's in the movie. But there was just so much here. It was a great ride and an awesome start for the Nintendo movie cinematic universe that we're going into. But let me know what you thought in the movie down below, and let me know if you caught anything that I may have missed. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things the Mario movie and Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.